The idea of the TikTok ban has led to Americans going to RedNote, aka Xiaohongshu, one of the most popular social media platforms in China. You might recognize Xiaohongshu from the memes that reference it.
Do you think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created? Xiaohongshu!
And RedNote is the English name for the app. As such, RedNote was sort of already present in the collective consciousness of meme culture before the TikTok ban was announced, which no doubt helped lubricate the American exodus into it. And now that people are actually flooding the site, the long stream of memes and references to RedNote is becoming impossible to ignore, as the clash of cultures between American and Chinese users are leading to some incredible moments. Fights over the meaning of social credit scores, saying goodbye to Chinese spies on TikTok, as well as Americans referring to themselves as refugees, the banning of TikTok and subsequent migration to other apps is certainly a big online moment. This conglomeration of cultures has the potential to change memes in huge ways. Chinese memes have already penetrated global online spaces because there are simply so many people using social media in that country. After all, China already has the most people in the world on social media, sitting at 1 billion compared to the paltry 240 million or so in the United States. You may remember the Chinese Wojak equivalents that rocked Americans a little while back, like the insane panda faces that became implemented within digital culture. But then again, it can go both ways. It turns out memes like Plankton Moaning are super popular on RedNote too, and the ooee cat blew up on Chinese app Bilibili. So I'm extremely interested to see how the future will look with a potentially collaborative effort between Western and Eastern cultures when it comes to posting. The fact that memes are able to transcend international borders through virtue of not necessarily needing to be understood through any one language means there's opportunity here for entirely new creations to be consumed by audiences, the size of which the world could not imagine previously. It's like when the water bottle guy sang the Super Idol song back in 2021 and became a star in Western media as well as in China, bringing the two countries together in their love for a ridiculously goofy clip. So, if TikTok is so popular, why shut it down? Well, all of this is happening because the US government has been calling for TikTok's downfall for years, despite its many citizens using the app on a daily basis. It has asked ByteDance, the company that created TikTok, to sell its business in the US, and if the US Supreme Court doesn't do something, the app will be completely banned from the United States forever, after many years of operating in the country. The US has long raised security concerns surrounding TikTok as the government is worried that the Chinese are using it to gather data on foreign citizens, effectively providing a completely free way for America to give China valuable insights into how citizens act or feel. Of course, many argue that this is more or less exactly what the American tech companies have been doing to their own citizens for many years, so perhaps it's just a pick your poison moment. After all, Facebook was caught doing this numerous times and has had to pay extraordinary fines for selling data without users' consent. At any rate, whilst TikTok was preceded by Musical.ly until the two apps were smushed together in 2018, it saw a massive spike in usage during 2020, when COVID lockdowns forced millions to stay inside. Entire careers were born on TikTok during this period, which is precisely why there is so much at stake here for the removal of the app. TikTok changed the social media game by promoting a move to purely algorithm-based recommendations for viewers, encouraging a constant flick from clip to clip that has led to additions to the English language like doom scrolling. This push to purely algorithmic-based viewing has been criticized for making social media and memes even more addictive than they already are, but TikTok quickly became one of the most popular apps in the world and influenced the others in this manner. Instagram made Reels, and YouTube made Shorts to replicate its success. However, initially TikTok was received as cringe and for kids upon release, but quickly dominated the social media scene to the point that making TikToks became a concept that even old boomers knew. As such, not only can the ban affect the financial well-being of many, but there's more going on behind the scenes on a political scale. The rise of China as a world superpower has certainly rattled the United States, and the fact that so many Americans are using Chinese tech seems to really piss it off. Another indicator that tensions are perhaps rising is the fact that Tencent, the owner of Riot Games, who made League of Legends, was deemed a military company. And despite saying he would ban TikTok previously as a show of force against China, Trump has hit a 180 trick shot and said that he'd try to save it once he comes into office as president. Whether or not he will actually achieve this is unclear at this stage. India went through the same thing a few years ago, as the country saw massive stars like Indian Joker rising through the ranks to hit mega fame, but now that opportunity is lost to them. The Indian government decided the app was too much of a security concern and simply banned it, which left many of its citizens in the lurch. It turns out most Indians moved to Instagram and YouTube, but the feeling of what made Indian TikTok special was lost. Xiaohongshu/RedNote allows for Americans to encounter a majority culture different to their own. Westerners are used to their own social media platforms being the biggest in the world, but this is no longer the case as Chinese apps take up massive virtual space. Chinese media and viewpoints may end up dominating online discourse as the clash of two cultures becomes ever prominent. It's funny to watch Chinese people troll Americans by asking them if they really work 2 jobs to survive or if they really have to pay for ambulances. It goes to show propaganda goes both ways, as Americans are often only shown how horrible of a surveillance state China is, or of course how intense censorship is, but not some of the normal or everyday things that paint Chinese people as humans instead of monsters or victims. There's nice moments online too, like the Americans asking the Chinese to help with homework, or paying the cat tax on RedNote by posting a picture of their cat as the first thing they put on there. The question is, are we going to see a Chinese social media revolution spread in other countries? American social media like MySpace, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and of course YouTube have become so normalized for so many international spaces, but it seems like those sites are eclipsed by the sheer number of Westerners using Chinese tech like TikTok. It certainly reflects the fact that social media has become so intertwined with everyday life that many cannot possibly imagine having their accounts uploading every single minute of every single day, to the point that if one goes down, then they must go elsewhere or perish. We've seen this happen before with the destruction of Vine, which eventually led to the popularity of TikTok growing as those creators decided to move over to the, at the time, new site. I mean, TikTok is ultimately owned by a Chinese company, but the fact is that Chinese users and global users were somewhat separated, but now they're being properly included in one another's lives, which means the exchange with memes and ideas are going to start looking entirely different. TikTok, just like Vine, will leave a legacy online for many years to come. People will remember the dance trends, the shit posting, and the fact that so many lived and experienced their existence through the lens of this one app. Social media isn't going anywhere, however, and TikTok is still available in my home country of Australia, but it's safe to say that there's no way it could be as influential as it is now with the US ban. TikTok defined Gen Z as a generation, and I have no doubt they will be nostalgic for it in exactly the same way as millennials were for MySpace before it died, and Facebook back in the day before it became terrible and overrun by boomers fighting over politics and worshipping shrimp Jesus. Some describe this ban as an attack on free speech, which the United States often claims to be a champion of compared to China's stringent laws on censorship. I guess at the end of the day, there's an irony in American users being forced to stop using TikTok over security concerns until they migrate over to what could be the easiest way for the Chinese government to actually harvest their data. It's going to be interesting to see what happens next, whether this ban could be reversed, delayed, or genuinely goes through forever, considering the importance of TikTok in the current creator economy. What meme would you guys like me to give a lesson in next? Let me know in the comments below.
And remember, like and subscribe. Or else.